welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Okay, Connie Bomber. Let's see. Lydia Washington is here first, followed by Ulibi. Let's see. Judy Matasid, Vivian G, Mary H, Kathy G, and a host of friends and other. Rodney Jackson, Mary H. Okay, let's get on with it. OMG. Harry is the hardest working man in royal business. He is. He had another appearance, not a whole lot of photos, but there is a video. There's a video. Did not realize it, but today is World Mental Health Day. But before we get to that, Carrie Kennedy. Oh, you know what? That is way too small. Let me see what I can do. That is way too small. Okay. 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 It is with our hearts full of love that we announce the passing of our mother, Ethel Kennedy. Please keep our mother in your hearts and prayers. Let me see. It is with our hearts full of love that we announce the passing of our mother, Ethel Kennedy. She died this morning from complications related to a stroke suffered last week, along with a lifetime's work in social justice and human rights. Our mother leaves behind 9 children, 34 grandchildren, and 24 great-grandchildren, along with numerous nieces and nephews, all of whom love her dearly. She was a devout Catholic and a daily communicant, and we are comforted in knowing she is reunited with the love of her life, our father, Robert F. Kennedy, her children, David and Michael, her daughter-in-law, Mary, her grandchildren, Maeve and Soris, and her great-grandchildren, Gideon and Josie. Please keep our mother in your hearts and prayers. So, wow. I think she was what, 92? 92 years old? Well, as you know, we don't have a royal family, but for a long time, people considered the Kennedys American royalty. And, you know, Kit Kennedy was almost, her name was Kathleen, but they call her Kit. She was almost the Duchess of Devonshire, but unfortunately, the future Duke of Devonshire died in a plane crash during the war, and then she later herself died in the plane crash. But it was only months before Kennedy's death that he visited her grave at I believe it was the Chatsworth. But yeah, so there's that historic link between the American presidency, the first family, and the British aristocracy. And of course, those links go all the way back to George Jefferson, who were tenants in a cottage or property of the Spencer family. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? Princess Diana's ancestors were landlords to the president of the United States ancestors. How about that? Okay. Yeah, Rosa Roberts is here. That's been a while, hasn't it? Okay, so again, today is World Mental Health Day, October the 10th. You know, that kind of snuck up on me. I believe it was World Mental Health Day when the Sussexes went to the Hudson Yards, was it not? And Yeah, did not realize that that day was coming, but it is today. So remember, if you are struggling, there is some help out there. And please pass that on to one of the presidential candidates, because if there's anybody who needs help, that is one of them. So, yeah, however you can get the word to that imbecile, we'd appreciate it while we still have a country. World Mental Health Day is an international day for global mental health education, awareness, and advocacy against social stigma. It was celebrated in 1992 at the initiative of the World Federation for Mental Health, a global mental health organization for members and contacts in more than 150 countries. So, again, today is the World Mental Health Day. Okay. Okay, Church Nelly, you're going to end up in the ER like that. You're going to end up in the ER like that. Let's see. Oh, I guess they do the white ribbon for World Mental Health Day. You know, I don't know. Have you ever wondered who was the first person during the AIDS epidemic crisis, um, who took the red ribbon and twisted it like that and stuck a pin in it? You know what I mean? I don't know that that's ever been used before, but ever since then, anytime I see a ribbon with that particular twist, very simplistic, I always think of the AIDS crisis of the 1980s. And I always wondered who was the first person that bent the ribbon in that way and pinned it to someone's lapel. But since then, it is a very identifiable symbol. Now, for World's Mental Health Day, Harry had a surprise chat with someone from Fortune Health magazine, I believe is what they call it. But yeah, um, anyway, Harry looks amazing. Look at those shoes. Look at how shiny those shoes are. Not to disparage the man that's sitting there across from him, but Harry's shoes are shining like new money. In honor of World Mental Health Day, Prince Harry led a significant discussion with Jonathan Haidt. It's Haidt. So I guess the D is silent. I'm going to say Haidt. Author of the New York Times bestseller, Anxious Generation, focusing on the impact of social media. They explore how screens and devices affect the mental health of Generation Z and discuss actionable steps to address the rising mental health crisis across teens. This vital conversation coincides with the release of the Archewell Foundation's second edition of the Archewell Foundation Insight Report. This report captures insight from, I know I just made a boo-boo. I got to go back and fix that. From ongoing sessions organized by the foundation, which facilitates intimate discussions aimed at deepening our understanding of how young people and parents navigate life in the digital age. The report highlights a global youth perspective on technology, involving role featuring contributions from young people across Colombia, Georgia, India, Jamaica, Kenya, Nigeria, Turkey, the United Kingdom, and the United States. These voices shed light on the unique challenges of growing up online, share their hope for the future. Through the Archewell Foundation, the Duke and Duchess are dedicated to engaging with young people and parents to gain insight on social media and the future of the digital landscape, working together to create a better online world. So there you go. Now, do you know? uh, do you know what I did? I'm not even going to say. I will just discreetly fix it later. Pretend like it never happened. There you go. Um, okay. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to fix it and pretend like it never happened because we don't need everybody all up in my business. Okay. Okay. Done. Done. That's right. We don't need nobody all up in my business. Okay. What's that? Is that the Amazon wish list? You know, I'd be forgetting to put that up there, even though it's only 23 shopping days to my birthday. Which, by the way, I already got well, I don't want to say it just in case somebody sent it. But that's the other thing I'm going to fix. I need to go and take that off of there, which I'm going to do right now. And hopefully nobody got it. Because I don't need two of them. I'm not a greedy person. I don't need two of them. So let me get that off of there. There we go. That's done too. Only took a second. So anyway, let me pin that to the top of the chat just in case. Oh, I already did that. All right. I tell you, that's like a lazy yawn for me. I do that unconsciously, just pinned it to the top of the chat. All right. So moving, look at Harry's shoes. Look at his shoes. That's that military training. You know that, don't you? That's the military. That's a soldier. So Fortune Well, that's the name of the magazine. Exclusive Prince Harry, the Anxious Generation, author, social media, and mental health. So that is, oh, and there's a video for that. And let me see, do I want to play a little soundbite from that? Let me see. It depends on how easy it is to find it. Yeah, I guess I can. I think I can.
This World Mental Health Day.
Oh, Prince Harry, what an honor to meet you.
Thank you for spending time with me and having this discussion about your book, The Anxious Generation, which, funny enough, aligns very well with the insight sessions that we've been doing with young people in numerous different countries. Perhaps the best way to start is for the people that haven't heard of your book or haven't even had a chance to read your book. What is The Anxious Generation about, and what is the clearest, most important message and takeaway from it?
So The Anxious Generation is about a big change that happened for young people born after 1995. There's never been such a sharp generational shift. Those who were born in the late 90s and afterwards, it turned out when they hit puberty, they had very, very high rates of anxiety, depression, self-harm, and suicide. All of those went up. And they all went up right around 2010 to 2012 in that region. Everything goes up, not just in America, but all over the English-speaking world and in Scandinavia and some other parts as well.
2012. He said at around 2012, that's when there was like a sharp uptick in the amount or the rate of certain, emotional problems that young people were having. And that is definitely worth looking at. It really is. And that was around the time when the smartphone got that much smarter. And we were able to have access to a lot of things. I can remember that transition from my BlackBerry to my iPhone 4S, I think it was. And it was quite a transition. And I was just so impressed with the technology. So yeah, he makes a great point. So it's about an hour long conversation, and I'm going to make it a point to go and watch it, especially so that I can support uh, Prince Harry. Yeah, so I can support Prince Harry. Okay. And so here's the Archewell Foundation Insight Report for 2024. Just going to skim through it just to show you what the report looks like. As part of our work to build a better online world, the Archewell Foundation continues to conduct insight sessions with parents and young people around the world. These discussions explore the evolving role of technology in society with a focus on the impact of social media and AI. In 2024, the second edition of the Archewell Foundation Insight Report was released, a seasonal report that details the findings of these ongoing sessions. This report highlights a global youth perspective featuring young people from around the world, including in a Colombia, Georgia, India, Jamaica, Kenya, Nigeria, Turkey, the United Kingdom, and the United States. These reports underscore the Archewell Foundation's commitment to centering young people in conversations and decisions, helping shape a better online world. I'm glad somebody's doing the work because it is vital and important. So, this is the report. As you can see there, it says Insight Report, Volume 2. Contents there, special thanks on the right side. So please go to the Archewell website so that you can check it out. There's the preface. This is the second edition of the Archewell Foundation Insight Report, which delves into an evolving role of technology in society and highlights the importance of global youth perspectives. And about the insight sessions, followed by growing up online feels like, and then whatever that says. And the loss of humanity is a real concern. Technology sometimes make us stop using our brains. Yes, it does. Sometimes we just turn our brains off, and like sponges, we just absorb a lot of images and sounds that are not necessarily healthy for us. Here's a healthy sound. Connie Balmer, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you as always for watching Royal Sussex. And thank you for being a member of Royal Sussex. Very kind of you. Followed by the way forward. Takeaways. And whatever that is. By the way, did you know in the UK they don't call it carry out, they call it takeaway? Is that for, what did they say? Is that for here? Is that a takeaway? Yeah. Here, love, is that for here or a takeaway? Conclusion. There you go. Conclusion. That is one of my daily exercises. Every day I get my exercise, I get my steps in. I either jump to a conclusion, I reach a point, or you know what I'm saying. Or I walk in the kitchen and get me another one of them cookies. Leg says, wasn't 2012 supposed to be the cataclysmic event? Really? I'm trying to think what that might have been. Be a cataclysmic event. Oh, that's when the world was supposed. Yes, Legs. Yes, that's when we thought they even had a movie about that. I forgot about that. And that's only after we went through that whole Y2K where they thought that planes were going to fall out of the sky. Wow, Legs, you have an amazing ability to recall these things. I forgot all about 2012. And I remember my aunt kept saying, well, it don't matter because the world's coming to an end anyway. And I was like, what are you talking about, lady? Yeah, very cool. Thank you, Alex. And of course, thank you to our partners about the author, whoever that was. And of course, each of us can change our communities. All of us can change the world. Yeah, each of us can change our communities. All of us can change our world. Okay. And take a look at those two people. What a handsome couple. Beautiful couple. If you don't know them, that's the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. And, well, anyway, they are changing the world. One great deed at a time, but they are changing the world. I promise you they are. And of course, let us not forget their coat of arms. Right now, they're using the Duchess of Sussex coat of arms for the Archewell website, but on the left side is Harry's coat of arms, and then they also have one that is combined. So now, day 4 of the British media's meltdown over Duchess Meghan's red dress. I'm like, you mean to tell me they're not done yet? I don't think so. They are. I don't get why they're so triggered. I don't get why they're so triggered. I promise you, I don't. I know how they are, right? And as Patrick J. Adams said, sometimes when he's like doing when anytime he speak of Meghan, he says, I'm writing the headlines in my head. I'm trying to preempt whatever the response is going to be, because anything he says becomes a headline if it has to do with Meghan. So he's always, concerned he's going to step in it, and that's a crazy way to live. And so just about anything, I can write the headlines myself. I recall one of the things early on during the engagement announcement, and as soon as I heard it, I was just like, oh, because I kind of figured how that was going to play out in the media. And sure enough, it was enough to get Meghan's evil stepsister's mouth flapping. And so, yeah, we're at this point now where we can just kind of hear these things in our head. So we are hilarious on day 4 of the Meghan looked great in a red dress news cycle. Yeah, we are hilariously on day 4 of the Meghan Markle looks great in a red dress news cycle. Saturday night, the Duchess of Sussex made a surprise appearance at the LA Children's Gala. She rewore her red taffeta Carolina Herrera. That's what you call that. That's good. Taffeta Carolina Herrera gown with a puffy train, and she styled her hair with beachy waves, that's a new one for me. She looked amazing, glam, and sexy. even if some of us still have concerns about the weird bust pleats. I remember Celibici, they were not crazy about the pleats around the cups um, on the dress. Well, Meghan's appearance has basically caused a full scale meltdown in the British media. I regularly check in on the British tabloid's main royals page, and The Sun and the Mail have both devoted dozens of stories to Meghan wore a red dress. They're analyzing what the dress meant. They're claiming she copied Kate. They're analyzing her marriage. They're lying about whether she was invited to the gala. They're quoting Liz Cundy, of all people. But this is one of the funniest pieces to come out of the entire saga. Liz Jones. I've always backed Meghan, but the red dress picture have me to the startling realization, and I can no longer support her. If Jones was trying to be satirical, I'm not sure she could have done a better job. And that was the article that I told you. I didn't even want to tell you the woman's name, but it was just plain silly. It was obnoxious and very unnecessary. It was an exercise in the use of word salad. Yeah, I'll use word salad on her. It was nothing. It was too much of nothing. That's what it was. It was too much of nothing, if that's possible. Um. So anyway, that was from Celibici. So Meghan Markle's emotional connection to friend who joined her at gala. So grateful to have you by my side. Kelly McGee Zafin wrote of Meghan that she was beyond grateful to share this beautiful evening with one of my closest friends. And it really um, I love to see when women have that sisterhood, when they can have that connection, where they're not competing against each other, when they can be supportive and helpful to one another. And Megan was there for her when she lost her son. I think it was a couple years ago, and I believe he was 9 years old. His name was George, and Megan was there for her and helped her navigate her way through a lot of grief. And you know, nothing could ever be more painful for a mom than to have their children precede them. And in spite of that, you have a lot of those derangers that have been making a mockery of their friendship. And I'm told, I haven't seen it myself, but I'm told that they've even been going after Kelly Zafin, and just like Patrick J. Adams said, I write the headlines in my head. Well, for me, when I'm sharing things from social media, a lot of times I have to redact the name of the person because I'm always thinking that those horrible derangers are going to go after that person. And there is no levels too low for them to stoop in their need to attack someone that they've never met, and that includes Meghan. But of course, none of them have ever met Kelly Zafin. They don't know anything about her other than her public persona. But that does not prevent them from going to war against her or just about anybody else. And you just have to wonder how much pain and grief does a person go through before someone has enough sense to say, you know what, that's too much. I'm going to leave that person alone. There doesn't seem to be a bottom. There is no bottom for that kind of behavior. And I mean, look at that. Look, I mean, they're very connected. They're very connected, and it is almost like it's very much like a very childlike connection to have, and thank God they can still be that way with each other, just like with Nacho and Harry. Just like a couple of kids on the playground. They're very competitive. They want to run faster than the other. They want to show how strong and how much sportsmanship they have. I mean, they play polo when they were playing against each other. They were playing against each other to the point where Nacho was like, you know what? Maybe it'd be better if we were on the same team. He was probably thinking before Harry gets hurt, but maybe we should be on the same team. And people are jealous of those kind of relationships. Very jealous. You know, when I was planning for a very, 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 very long trip, right? The first time I had ever been abroad for so long. And I arranged with my best friend to um, hold money in case I had an emergency, right? And, you know, that was part of the security I needed so I could feel safe because I didn't really have anybody else at that time that I could count on that, you know, was aware enough and had enough knowledge of banking and whatever that could respond in an emergency. And when I was telling one of my coworkers that, she said, "You know what? I don't have that." She said, "I don't have that." She said, "I don't have anybody in my life that would do something like that for me, that I could trust to do that for me." So I guess that would make some very bitter people jealous that you can have a friend that is just as close as your family, and in some cases even closer than your family, that you can rely upon. And people see that, and instead of, you know, accepting that not everybody gets on with their own family, they attack it. They are trying to take what family you have away from you. That's what's so awful about that, is that if you don't have that kind of connection with your family, and as I said, I my mind runs wild with thoughts about what those hillbillies called the Markles, what they must have been like, how they treated Doria, how Meghan knows Doria was treated. I'm just guessing. I don't know anything for certain, but I'm speculating. It couldn't have been good. It could not have been good. And so Meghan has had to create family where there was none. And they're trying to take that away from her. I can't help but think they're trying to take that away from her. And same with Harry. They deny that he has friends, they deny that he has support. And now they're trying to take Harry and Meghan away from each other. They're doing their best to take them away from each other. They're meditating and wishing and hoping and praying that one day that they're not together. Who's that bitter? Whose life is so awful that they would wish that for another person? The tabloid media, the Royal Rota. I mean, and you look at the state of some of them, you can tell they've been through hell. But yeah, they have been working very hard to even remove the idea that they have anybody that close to them. And I guess it really, really threw them for a loop when Tyler Perry stepped up. That must have really they were probably like, who? Medea? So, you know what? I'm going to say this. I know that there are some people listening to me right now that don't have those familial connections, right? Sometimes, we our friends are our families, and that's okay. That is okay. Um, they say you can choose your friends, but you can't choose your family. They say that for a reason. So I hope you're okay with that. I hope you're okay with wherever you're getting that support from, right? I hope you're okay with that. I mean, yeah, you want your family to be your family, but sometimes it's just not that way, and you have to piece it together where you can find it. Okay. Now, here is, let's see, that is Kelly. Okay, Megan, Kelly. No, I'm sorry. That's Spencer, right? Spencer. Oh gosh, what is her first name? Oh, I forget. But anyway, oh, come on, help me out. What is her first name? And of course, Kelly and Megan. And Kelly was a model, right? Because she's very tall. I think she was a model. Abigail, that's it. And I love that name. I don't know how I forgot it. Abigail Spencer. Thank you so much. Okay. And those are some very cool shirts, which I think I have um, ordered both of those and gifted those. Anytime I see one of those shirts come out, I order the new one. So I think I've done that twice now. But it's a good way to make a donation. Now, I love this. It's too bad that it's very small and you can barely see it. But so surround yourself with beautiful and positive people who love you and believe in you. Life is too short for wasting on wrong people. So let me see. You have Marcus Anderson, you have Serena Williams, Tyler Perry, Kelly Zafin and her husband, Mama Doria at the heart of things, of course. And there is Nacho and ooh, Nacho and Delfina. And of course, Harry and the children, again at the center of things. And over there you have that is Kelly and her husband again. And in the middle, beneath the words, that is who it is. And also those are them too. And that's her niece holding the flowers, right? And the what's his name from the hospital. So anyway, um, like I say, you got to piece your family together the best way you can, especially, not to replace the family you were born with, but whatever gives you a sense of camaraderie, community, love, and support. Um, yeah, it's a good thing to have. Now, Boris Johnson, Unleashed. Is that the name of the book? Unleashed? I love this cartoon. Wherever this came from, I love it. Oh, I do have a sound bite. I do have a sound bite. Mm, Harvard. Oh, okay. think I have to share this with you tomorrow. Okay, where is Boris? So, of course, this is Boris, Bojo the Clown, speaking about, Harry and Meghan and them leaving, but this is another version of it.
And I like you say that you had a conversation with Prince Harry in an attempt to try and dissuade
Yes,
him
there's a
from
moment
leaving
of
the
epic pomposity by me, epic pomp. And so basically, I think, so I get Harry in it. So it's the Africa summit. And he's doing a great job. And I like him. Very, I mean, and I like Meghan. I think she was terrific. They came to a Commonwealth event. And they both did an absolutely bang-up job on female education. She knew her stuff. She had all the statistics, and he was very good too. And I'd also seen him being very good at the Invictus Games. The games he organised for disabled veterans, armed service veterans. And so he was doing a numero at the Africa Summit, and he was again very good. And he and I were together for a while on our own in some of these little rooms at the hotel in Greenwich, and I. With ineffable pomposity, and I said, I say, Harry, do you think you really need to, you and Meghan, go to California? Really? What? And I'm afraid I didn't get anywhere.
You got on the next plane.
I did not avert Brexit.
Okay. Now, of course, I don't approve of the use of the word that sounds like Brexit. I don't approve of it. I think they've gotten too comfortable with it. And no matter how well-meaning some people have been, and I'm not saying he's one of them, it is still a very misogynist thing to say because it implies that Meghan is somehow to be held responsible for Harry seeing the light and leaving that oppressive system. And look at this. They make spiffing bookmarks. Don't you know? They make spiffing bookmarks. Spiffing? The heck is that? Anyway. Anyway, the Partygate penalty notice makes a spiffing bookmark. Yeah, love that. Okay, you caught that, didn't you? So Lex says, wait, California, they were going to Canada, liar. Exactly. I was waiting to see if anybody was going to mention that. He either misremembered or he talks so much he can't keep track. But when Harry boarded the plane, he was going to Canada, not to California. It would be another 6 weeks before they went to California, right? So either he misremembered or he just lied. But I'm just going to say I think he probably misremembered because it's been a while now. And ultimately, they did end up in California. So I think he just spoke out of turn. But, there's a lot of politicians that I have voted for that misrecall or misremember or lose track of certain places and dates and such. And when you're constantly telling that same story of your life over and over again, or certain events, it's easy to call someone out on that. But the amount of hot air that some politicians put out on a daily basis, you can imagine that you can fall over yourself like that. Yeah, so that was it. But yeah, he did say California. So thank you again, Lex, for pointing that out. All right. Oh, by the way, let me see. Yeah, okay. that was was it? No, it was Sussex Soldier was the one that shared the thing from Kelly Safe, and I forgot to give her credit for that. But there's someone called the Sussex Soldier. Now, not my king. Another um, account on Twitter says Prince William dragged into royal hypocrisy row with latest move. Even GB News has noticed that people are not as gullible as they were. See there? See that incredibly small print? Anyway, it says Prince William dragged into royal hypocrisy row with the latest move. Princess Kate highlighted the fragility of life as she opened up a cancer journey. So, Prince of Wales has been criticized by some due to his latest project. Prince William has been dragged into a royal hypocrisy row with his latest move. The Prince of Wales has said it is important to change and tackle the narrative around homelessness ahead of his upcoming ITV documentary. Is he really doing a documentary? Oh, Lord. The program will follow Prince William. He's only 42. I thought he was 52. Anyway, the program will follow Prince William during the first year of his Homeward initiative, which aims to address all forms of homelessness. I can't wait to see it. He's addressing homelessness. He's not solving it, he's addressing it. So part of it is likely to be the footage that was filmed at an art gallery that was had an exhibit to bring light to homelessness, to use homelessness as a muse, as a means of creativity. I don't know how that gets anybody, off the street or off of someone's sofa, but that is what he's doing. Asked about his drive to stem the issue, Williams said, I think it is really important that we can try to change and tackle the narrative around homelessness. So, are we supposed to try to find some new words to the thing is, this man has 4, possibly 5 properties if you throw in Windsor Castle, because I do believe he maintains an apartment there. I do believe that. So he has several homes to choose from. He hopscotch all over the United Kingdom with a helicopter. So he doesn't know what it's like to sit in traffic. As he has become so soft, if you will, by the way he lives his life, his lifestyle. This has been a long time since he once slept rough on the streets with a black man. When he slept rough with a black man, even then he would retreat to the comfort of Kensington Palace or Anmer Hall. But now we're supposed to believe that $5 million that he used, right, as a way to start the conversation about homelessness, I don't think any of that money was earmarked to build anything, just to come up with a new terminology. People live with it. We see it every day in our lives. That's something I want to change. What, are you going to send them to Rwanda? You're going to send them to Rwanda? Or are you going to repatriate them to Jamaica? What is it? It's either Rwanda or Jamaica. What are you trying to do? And you know, I want to see the white homeless person that ends up in Rwanda guilty of the crime of homelessness. I want to see that. I want to see them paraded to an aircraft and sent to Rwanda, because I got a feeling that's what he's talking about. He's going to take anybody, regardless of their race or ethnicity, and put them on a plane and either send them to Jamaica or Rwanda. Yeah. He's going to say, well, the Home Office lost any records, but I have my birth certificate right here. Doesn't matter. You get on that plane and you go to Rwanda, because we're trying to change the conversation. Okay. I mean, I'm just, I'm just kidding about that. I'm just trying to figure out, what narrative is he trying to change? What narrative? I tell you what, though, I got a feeling that if it was up to him, he would probably send them all lock, stock, and barrel to Montecito, where there are no leaks. I could just imagine a busload of people, their only crime, homelessness, being shipped off to California, and then loaded up on coach buses, and then when they wake up, they'll be in Montecito, right there at the Sussex's door. Yeah, that I could imagine him doing. Worth every nickel. I don't know what his aim is, and that's the thing. They refer to everything Meghan says as word salad. And then for Harry, Ingrid Seward says, well, I couldn't understand that California speak. She accused Harry of speaking like California. I don't know what that is. But with universities like Stanford, I believe there's enough people in California that know how to speak the King's English. Anyway, however, the anti-monarchy group Republic took to social media to complain about the royal documentary. The organization wrote, the monarchy cost us $500 million. They lounge around in lavish palaces, but don't worry, William is going to lecture us about how he's going to end homelessness. Hashtag not my king. Hashtag abolish the monarchy. Hashtag I know you're white, but we're still going to send you to Rwanda. Yeah, I know you're white, but we're going to send you to Rwanda. So, bon voyage. All's well that ends well. Now get on that plane. We're trying to change the way people talk about it. We want to change. We want to change the wording and the conversation. Now get on that plane and get thee to Rwanda, lickety split. Oh man, what a harebrained idea. You see, with the amount of male pattern baldness, I think that just a little bit of sun is too much for his scalp. And he's starting to get weird. He's really starting to get weird. Something wrong with him, y'all. Something wrong. I don't know. Well, let's just wait for the documentary. Let's wait for the word salad. Yeah, let's wait for the word salad. I mean, I just keep looking at that. People live with it like it's a disease. We see it every day in our lives as though it's an eyesore. That's something I want to change. So he doesn't want to see people selling the big issue, right? He don't want them around other people. As a matter of fact, he don't want you to live with them. He don't want them sleeping on your couches no more. What a nut job. Oh yeah, there's more. Let me see. Many social media users agree with one replying, "This family has a vast number of properties. The most meaningful change they could make is to start a movement to end people having multiple homes, which stand unused, and lead by example." Another wrote, "Watch what he does, not what he says." However, several of William's fans came to the royals' defense. Of course they did. Of course they did. Let me see. William will be king. Concepts of the world peace to all. Thank you, Legs. Yeah, just like a contestant in the Miss Universe pageant, when it comes to the question and answer, he's just going to say world peace. Why overcomplicate it with details? Just say world peace. Oh, let me stretch my leg out. Oh, boy. Okay. Shelly L says, "Hi, Baron. Hello, squatties. I thought he was going to end homelessness for $3 million, otherwise known as the price of a 4-bedroom home in Los Angeles. What happened to that?" Thank you, Shelly L. Only William, you know what? William acts like one of those people that was born during the Depression. You know, if you're of a certain age, you may have actually had a family member that was born and lived through the Depression. And when they ask you to do something like go to the store or fix something, they give you like $3, $5. Even back in the 1980s, that wasn't much money, but they thought that that was really doing something. And maybe he doesn't know how much stuff costs. Maybe he just doesn't know how much stuff costs. Either that or he's stupid or both. But maybe he doesn't know how much stuff costs. Maybe he thought $3 million was $3 billion. But maybe he don't know how much stuff costs. I don't know. But he reminds me of one of them old people that lived through the Depression that thinks that $3, $2, $5 is still real money. That's not even a starter. That's not even a what do you call it? That's not even what do you call it? A hors d'oeuvre. That's nothing. Yeah, that's not an appetizer. That's nothing. But thank you so much, Shelly O. Let me see. For example, one said lies. The monarchy doesn't cost us $500 million a year at all. We actually make a profit. Oh God, we actually make a profit from the royal family as we get more in revenue from the crown estate. Oh no, than is required to fund it. If you don't like our system, you don't have to stay in it. Feel free to leave. Oof. What's the other one here? Meanwhile, someone else commented, "You need to do some research. Publicly available. The royal family costs each taxpayer just under £1 per year." I remember when it was, what was it, 60 pence a year or something like that? The royal family brings in about 1.4 billion annually for the economy. If you have an idea on how to get that return for 99 pence, just enlighten us all. The math is not mathing. And you need only look across the channel at the Republic of France, where they don't have a royal family and they have far greater numbers of tourists, just like with the Even Spain has more tourism. So that is just not true. Italy has far more tourists. That is just not true. Most people, I don't think they get out of Greater London. It took me several trips before I got out of London. So, you can only go through Westminster Abbey so many times before you're like, okay, been there, done that. It does not mean anything. Those people, their presence does not generate money. I'm sorry, but it's not real money. You could open up those households for a royal family that have not been in power for 300 years, and people wouldn't be any less impressed. So, no, it doesn't make a difference. You get a crowd for, let's say, the coronation or something. That is not an annual event. There are not many people leaving their home country going to Troop in the Color. Most people in the UK don't even know what it is. I don't think most people in the UK even know what the Troop in the Colors is. They don't know when it is or what it is. And you know what? I'm going to tell you something. I heard someone in Spaces say that I'm British, and I'm here to tell you, we don't think about that family from one day to the next. And I believe that to be true. I believe that to be true. When I traveled, people were glad for me that I was able to do it, right? And most of the people that I met were incredibly nice. However, they were not interested in any conversation about that institution. They certainly didn't bring it up. You ride the tube, you don't hear anybody talking about the royal family. None of it means anything. They're just like the wallpaper. After a while, you don't even notice that it's there. You can walk past it all day long and it doesn't mean anything to you. So Prince William's upcoming documentary features a senior fire officer taking a former long-term homeless man to meet the royal and tell his story. A 22-second video shared on social media said the program, Prince William, We Can End Homelessness, will be coming soon to ITV, ITVX. Diana, Princess of Wales, used to take the young royal and his brother, Prince Harry, to homeless shelters to broaden their horizon. The father of three launched his Homeward initiative, which that also is a copy of somebody else's program, last year to help develop bespoke solutions to homelessness. Bespoke solutions to homelessness. One of a kind, I suppose. Unique, singular, one of a kind solutions to homelessness. I don't know about you all, but something tells me that there's a lot of bright people out there that have been working on this for a long time. And all these years have gone by and we've only gotten so far. I don't suppose the likes of Willie Windsor will be the one to sort this out. I just don't. I hate to sound pessimistic, but I don't think he's the one. Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much, Shelly L, for the super chat. And thank you for being here tonight. So that's what Willie's up to. He is, oh, by the way, here's some interesting data. Population of London compared to big U.S. cities last updated the 3rd of October, 2024. So did you know that Greater London is big enough to hold Chicago, Seattle, San Francisco, Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, Detroit, and Dallas. Interesting, huh? I thought so. Yeah, Greater London is huge. But oh, if you see an image of Tokyo superimposed on Britain, it is is it still the largest capital city in the world? Or is it just the largest city in the world? But Tokyo is huge. Huge. I think there's about 110 million, 100 million people in Japan. I think the population is about 100 million. Compare that to Germany, which I think is about 80 million, something like that. Anyway, above shows just how big London's population is compared to several large US cities, but it should be noted that the number for all cities, including London, are for the city proper rather than the larger urban or metropolitan area. So that's something that should be noted because, there's the metropolis, right? That is includes the city and the suburbs. And then there's what they call a megapolis, which is a region where there's several large cities. So, like in the Midwest, you have Chicago, Milwaukee, and of course, those big suburbs. And there's less and less, say, farmland or rural areas between the two cities, even though they're about 100 miles apart. So that's what's referred to a megalopolis, is where you have that huge population center that's concentrated in an area. Oh, Church Nelly, you get turned on when I be talking like that. You get turned on. You over there all hot and bothered right now. Probably got a little piece of ice running it up and down the side of your face. So Greater London, 8,866,180 people. That was as of 2022. And compare that to the US based on 2020 census. Chicago, 2,746,388. At one time, Chicago was getting close to 4 million people, but like most northern industrial cities, it is shrinking. Philadelphia, 1.6 million. Dallas, 1.3. San Francisco, just shy of 900,000. Seattle, 737. And Washington, D.C., about 700,000. Detroit, about 639,000. And that total population is 8,594,200. So, yeah, you can fit all of that. Let me see. So the total population, 271,980 less than London, or a Toledo, Ohio's worth. Okay, so if you throw in Toledo, Ohio, then you could just about even out all of those cities to Greater London. All right. Now, my warning to Meghan, here is another drama mama who is upset about that red dress. If you want your marriage to last, don't emasculate once proud Harry and turn him into a +1 like I did to my ex-husband, says Amanda Playtell. Why is this woman trying to work out her issues with Meghan and the red dress? If I see one more of these middle-aged, unhappy, sad, miserable journalists or so-called journalists trying to work out their issues via Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. I would just hock and spit all over this computer. I'm sick of it. Do you hear me? Sick! I'm sick of it. Go get some therapy. Leave Meghan alone. Why are they trying to work out their issues, their loneliness, their inhibitions, their body dysphoria, whatever you call it? Everything. They try to throw it in Meghan's lap as though she has something to do with them. She don't even know you. You ain't never met her. But still, they want to make it a teachable moment. Oh, my warning to Meghan, if you want your marriage to last, is she even married? I didn't even check. I don't even care. The thing is, the whole idea of Meghan needs to go. Meghan, go home. Meghan, don't come back. Meghan, you're not one of us. So if indeed Meghan is not one of you, then stop trying to superimpose your miserable, pathetic lives on Meghan. I mean, I'm sorry that things haven't worked out for this person or that person, including Amanda Platel. Harry could never be a +1. That is Prince Harry. According to YouGov, he is the most famous man in the world. He is at the top of the chart. The next person beneath him, I can't remember who it was, but he is the most famous man in the world, period. So how could he ever be anybody's +1? There's always going to be a fuss about Harry, and that's just the way it is. He's nobody's +1. He's Harry. Harry, Prince flipping Harry. Like the guy said when Harry gave him that trophy. He said, it's Prince freaking Harry. He's nobody's +1. Never gonna be, never will be. He's nobody's +1. So that right there makes this stupid. And then they say, now read Liz Jones. I've always backed Meghan. Oh, God. Another one? Another one? With those teeth that look like weapons? Oh, these people. Miserable, miserable, bitter. As a matter of fact, where is the bitter? Where is bitter? There we go.
Bitter. And somebody needs to say it. Bitter. Bitter, bitter, bitter.
Followed by some other good advice that I can share. You already know what it is. Here's some good advice.
Hey, girl, sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Stars, they come and go.
There you go. Sit down. Good advice. Okay. Let me see here. Baby Sis Doll says, none of these derangers has ever met or been in the same room or know anything that know anybody that is that knows her. Here. Thank you very much, Baby Sis Doll. And that is true. Harry put his foot down from the very beginning and gave the best advice in the world. Stay away from them because they flip. They act all nicey when they're trying to get close to you. But the tabloid newspapers, it's like a protection racket. It really is like a protection racket. They operate like organized crime. And their loyalties could never be to anyone but the top of the ticket, right? And they will turn. They will turn on Charles and Godzilla one of these days. I do believe that they are capable of turning on them. So it'd be interesting if these connections, if these bonds that Camilla has made all these years, if they will endure if Chucky goes first. Be interesting to find out. But again, thank you, Baby Sis Doll, and thank you for being here tonight. Oh, got a sound bite for you. Got a sound bite. Stars, they come and go. Let me see here.
Even have time to prepare questions. So that's how fast sometimes these red carpets work. I love the show. All the cast members were just so sweet, including Meghan Markle. But I mixed her name up with her character's name, Rachel Zane. Take a look. I'm sorry. I'm gonna mix that up. So I already messed up her name once, but this is how she responded.
My first name in real life is Rachel. Really? I've never been called it, but my parents named me Rachel Meghan Markle, and it's just confused every legal document for my entire life.
And now, of course, the show is even more confusing with that.
Exactly. So you actually called me by my chosen name.
Perfect. I totally knew that. So she's so sweet there. But then look at what happens.
Meet your parents. She's on to something, this one.
Okay, we're with Meghan Zane, who plays Rachel. I'm Sue.
I'm Meghan Markle.
Oh my gosh, Rachel Zane. I'm mixing all this up. Okay, this is why I hate that this is on the internet. I messed up her name twice. Could you imagine how I now feel that she's the Duchess of Sussex and I messed up her name twice and now it lives on YouTube forever? Yeah. Gosh, thank God the comments are turned off. But I'll never forget how she ended her interview.
I was saying as we were driving up, 2 blocks down the street is Paper Source. I used to teach gift wrapping classes there. I used to teach calligraphy classes there. And so to be here tonight and to see that contrast and what happened in my life from like an auditioning actress just trying to make it work to pilot after pilot to have one that's going into 3rd season with fans that are so supportive. I mean, I couldn't be more grateful. It's really amazing.
I never forgot that moment. I just thought that was the nicest actress. That was the nicest person I'd ever met on a red carpet. We were just an online outlet. She didn't even have to stop to talk to me. And she was so nice and so humble. But the fact that she mentioned that she worked at Paper Source, that was wild to me because a lot of these actors, they don't like to admit their backstory. They don't like to say they started from humble beginnings because they like to seem like they're a mystery off the streets. So you can imagine that when she became the Duchess of Sussex, I was like, what? That's so crazy, but also good for her. I'll never forget that experience.
Oh, that was sweet. I have no idea how old this is, but it looks like the account is Ashley B. So, okay. Or is it? But anyway, that was from TikTok, obviously. So there is Graham Smith. I'm in Australia to talk about why the UK should ditch the monarchy to challenge the royal PR machine and to say loud and clear, Charles is not my king. Graham Smith, Republic. And as you can see there, he says, I'm here with one simple message. Charles is not my king. Yep, he is not my king. Well, he has definitely been the face of the movement. Here's another one from his visit to Australia. So yeah, he's there to rally support for the movement in Australia, where there is definitely a Republican movement. And of course, I'm still trying to figure out how he got that into the overhead compartment. Inquiring minds want to know, how in the world did he get that into the overhead compartment? Okay. Also, I made a video earlier. There is, well, anyway, there's someone that has, I think it's a blog. Yeah, I think it's a blog. Well, anyway, the wording was lifted from that blog in my voice, of course. So if you get a chance to check out the video that I made earlier, you'll see the big thumbnail that says Sussex Squad revealed. And it speaks about how the Sussex Squad changed the narrative forever, whereas it was a one-sided thing where you just had the leaks and briefs from the palace funneled through the British tabloid media, and then all of a sudden, a ragtag crew of misfits called the Sussex Squad, strangers, still mostly strangers to one another, somehow decided that even though we don't know each other, we all know how to dance the same steps. And that's where the pushback came from. And as I like to say, we are on the right side of history. And someday, soon, I hope, the firm, as it were, and the tabloid media, they will be publicly exposed and people will see the real story behind a lot of the things that occurred, not only with the Sussexes, but with other members of the family, other members of the greater public who just happened to go against the grain. And of course, maybe even Princess Diana. But time will tell. So there you go, the Sussex Squad. They even have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Let me see. So Sussex Soldier, I credited her earlier for posting about Kelly Zafin. And let's see. The small print there says, my deepest gratitude to Children's Hospital Los Angeles for the extraordinary care they gave to our daughter, Lily. Our journey began when she was just 2.5, and from that day forward, we've experienced nothing but kindness, hope, care, and unmatched expertise. Our team at Children's has given us strength and hope during the most challenging moments, and their continued commitment to Lily's care has made all the difference to our family. I was also beyond grateful to share this beautiful evening with one of my closest friends, Meg. Your commitment to supporting Children's Hospital Los Angeles and community is truly inspiring. I'm so grateful to have you by my side. Okay. And Sussex Soldier actually was speaking about this when she said, I really like her Instagram post. Every time I read it, I smile. I'm hoping for Meghan that she has friends like Kelly McGee Zafin in her life. So this is what was on her Instagram. It says, surround yourself with friends who empower you, believe in you, support you, uplift you, motivate you, appreciate you. Those are the people that you should surround yourself with. Very, very important for your mental health and well-being, for your growth, your overall health. All of those things, you need to have good friends around. Well, well, well. Look who's back. Look who's back. Somebody then ordered them bundles from New York. Got some help over there. Got them tracks sewed in, allegedly. Kate's words of comfort for a family of Southport stabbing victims. Princess hugs relatives. Wow, they have to stress that, don't they? Hugs relatives and says, I'm not even going to go there. Thank you to 999 workers as she and William reunite for the first public engagement since Christmas concert. Uh-oh, I left that on. Let me see. I don't want to say the name, but you know who you are. Thank you so much for the Cash App. All right, very nice. Thank you very much. Now, Princess of Wales goes without her sapphire wedding ring as she sports eternity band during Southport visit with Prince William. Yes, she does not sport the sapphire ring. As a matter of fact, I don't think she's worn it for the last few times that she's been out. I don't think she's worn it for a bit. But then again, she's only been out maybe 3 or 4 times. So, but yeah, she has abandoned the sapphire. But remember, nothing to look at here, folks. There's no problems. They're getting on just fine with each other. This is all coincidental. Just, they sent it to get a cleaning and a reset and all that kind of stuff. Nothing to look at, right? Princess of Wales opted not to wear the sapphire wedding ring as she joined her husband for a surprise visit to meet with bereaved families of the Southport stabbing victims. Okay. Yep. That's what it says. And anyway, there was more. They're trying to get more stories out of it, but I'm afraid that this is it. I think they've only managed to squeeze 5. I don't even think it was in the American version of the fail, only for the UK. Ooh, somebody is not that popular anymore. Let me see. Emotional royal fans gush over beautiful Kate as radiant princess joins Prince William for the first time. Actually, for the first public engagement since finishing chemotherapy. Now, you know what? I didn't see any wide angle images of people, but since it was a surprise, that would make sense. Our style queen, our style queen returns. Princess of Wales dons a berry ensemble to visit victims of Southport stabbings. Oh, the style queen is back, y'all. Ooh, look out. Look out, Met Gala. She's back. Kate's signature smile is back. Royal is animated and intensely mirrors William after initially showing inner tension on emotional Southport visit. Oh God, they do go on, don't they? So that was it. They don't have anything else. I think it was just those 5. They'll probably squeeze a couple of more deuces tomorrow, and then they're done. And as you can see, she's all rested. I think she's kind of lost the tan that she had when she was at Wimbledon, but she's all rested and ready to go. So congratulations to the Princess of Wales. Looking forward to seeing more of you. And I'm glad you're better. I am, no shade. I'm glad she's better. I'm glad she's looking fit and healthy. She and William are looking quite fit and healthy and ready to work. Yes. You can just see that they're raring to go. They're going to do some busy work. That's why I use some eyewear as a background so that you can take a good look at them. Take a good look. So they're good to go. They got the whole jazz hands and all kind of animated movements, and the public is glad that they're back. So anyway, I do believe, was that it for today? Oh, I got one more thing for you. One more thing. You guys, this is Professor Tim Wilson. This is Professor Tim Wilson. Now, I can't play the video, but I'll play the sound for you. You don't have to respond, but you know how I looked at Kate's video and it reminded me of a certain type of commercial? Well, Professor Tim Wilson, he also has brought to mind some of the commercials that I've seen on television. I may even play it twice just to make sure that you are hearing what I'm hearing, because I don't think he meant to sound strange, but well, it's almost like you can take it another way.
Of quirkiness. Perhaps it's precisely this capacity to absorb and transform, super absorbent, now with wings, to transform influences that makes British culture both enduring and endearing.
Okay, I want you to hear that again, because, like I say, I don't think that was his intention.
Of quirkiness. Perhaps it's precisely this capacity to absorb and transform, super absorbent, now with wings, to transform influences that makes British culture both enduring and endearing. And I think if we don't endear, then we don't really have any value. I find myself occasionally having to explain what panto is, and I run into a certain amount of trouble. Is it a cocktail of quirkiness? Perhaps it's precisely this capacity to absorb and transform, super absorbent, now with wings, to transform influences that makes British culture both enduring and endearing. And I think if we don't endear, then we don't really have any value.
So you heard him. Is super absorbent, now with is super absorbent, now with wings. Okay? You heard the man. He was speaking about British culture, And he's on the wings of love. Look at the two of us together flying high. We're flying high upon the wings of love. That's right. The wing. Woo! Okay, good night.